Greetings, Terrarians, Chaos here. Everybody knows that marshmallows are pretty good, but a cooked marshmallow is even better. And if you don't know that, you're wrong. But a cooked marshmallow needs marshmallows, it needs sticks, you need to put the marshmallow on the stick, then you gotta find a campfire, wait for it to cook, and honestly, nobody has the time or effort for any of that. So today, I'm going to solve everybody's problems by designing a machine that will cook a marshmallow for you. In the fashion of Rube Goldberg, I'm going to be designing a wacky machine that does just that today. Who is Rube Goldberg, you might ask? Well, you may have seen his machines or inventions inspired by him before. Picture this. A man wants to wipe his face with a napkin without having to wipe his face with a napkin. He's got a machine that when he lifts a spoon will pull on a string which will flick a ladle and throw a cracker into the air. A bird will jump off of its perch to get the cracker, which will tilt the perch, pouring seeds into a bucket, which pulls on a string, opening up a lighter, lighting a firework with a sickle tied to it. The sickle cuts a string with a napkin on a pendulum, and it swings gently to wipe his face. That is Rube Goldberg. That is a Rube Goldberg machine, and that is the inspiration for today's video. But first, this video is brought to you by a pink dungeon vase. Wait, that's not a pink dungeon vase. That's a Khaios plush. That's right, this video is brought to you by the brand new, adorable, huggable Khaios plush. I teamed up with Makeshift to bring you all this cute little guy, and the squishy Shino is included. I'm extremely happy with the design of it, and it's very sturdy and soft. You can tell it's quality made. But don't take my word for it. Let's ask our resident plushie expert. Shino, what do you think, buddy? Do you like it? What do you think? Hey, get back here. These guys are perfect for sitting at your desk, bed, or off in some corner of the room where they'll add a splash of color and quietly judge your wooden box houses. I don't think that poking them with the needle will cause me any pain, but you never know. These plushies go on pre-order today. I have until May 7th to get 200 sales. If we hit that goal, then these guys will ship out in August. If we don't, then all the pre-orders are canceled and I'll be a sad tree. Not only do I think we can hit that goal, but my personal goal is to hit 400 in total. Once May 7th happens, the campaign ends and they will not be available for sale again. Ever. So if you'd like to score yourself an adorable miniature version of my dog and me, while also greatly helping to support this channel, now is the time. A link to the store is found in the description below, as well as the pinned comment. Now, let's get back to this crazy machine. I'm thinking about what I want to do to start this machine off, and what better way than golf. So we have this tee here, and what I'm thinking about doing is building a plinko machine right about here, and it'll fall through it, and once it hits the bottom, it will start the next phase of the machine. And of course, you know what that means. No trees. Now we have a very high risk of plinko here, where obviously it's going to hit one of these two teal pressure pads at the very bottom. Pretty straightforward stuff. And it's going to hit them multiple times. I only need it once. We can make sure it only triggers once with logic gates. But now this needs to trigger the next part of the machine. And I was thinking, I don't want to have any other inputs from the player for the rest of this machine. Just this, the golf swing. That's it. So to get the player moving, I was like, what if we do the golf swing from a minecart? And we do this, and then this gets the minecart going. And I was thinking about different ways to do that. Apparently, if I have booster tracks down here and I flip them, it doesn't work the way that I had hoped. So originally my plan was to lay down booster tracks like this. It would boost you against this wall, and then that would flip them and turn it left, but you have to do an input to get them going again. So that's a no-go. But I have learned that you can hoik yourself while on a minecart, and I think that is what this is going to do. So this is now in place. If you put yourself right up against the right here, you grab a golf ball, you take a swing, in we go. This will hit the bottom of the plinko, activate the launcher, and we go flying. Of course, the ball was, the camera was focused on the ball, so that looked a little funky. I actually hadn't tested that out yet. I didn't realize how hilarious that would look. But yeah, we get flung all the way over here, and we hit this pressure pad right as we land. So pretty good air. Let me show that to you again. I've got a little reset switch here for the moment. Let's show that again without following the golf ball all the way down. That's pretty funny. So I'm just going to do this, and then we'll just give it a little jump so it snaps back to us. And then, as soon as this hits the bottom, away we go. We're going to get launched over here, hit these pressure plates. That will spawn a bird, and it's basically going to look something like this. You launch over, you sit in this pocket, the bird just casually flies its way over, nice and safe, and then splat! And then that boulder drops down 3 levels, hits this pressure plate, and what I'm thinking about having next is maybe a dart shoots from this, hits another dart trap, and this just bounces around for a little while. So let's see how that's going to turn out. I need to build a safety box for the guide, because he is currently walking into an area where he can die. And you might be asking yourself, Khaios, why don't you just let him die? He's the guide. You always let the guide die. You even go out of your way to make sure that the guide dies. Well, that's because I plan on going out of my way to ensure that the guide dies here, and I want it on my terms, not his. So I'm going to build him a safety house, because let me show you how dangerous this is. And if this kills the guide right now, then I guess it was fate. Maybe I shouldn't do all these. You know what? Fate. Alright, so we launch over here. The bird flies in, gets crushed by the boulder. The boulder bounces a couple times, hits a dart, hits a spear, throws the boulder over your head. You go right, it goes left, and the guide needs a safety house. That also gives me an idea. But let's get this house built real quick. It's just going to be a little bit of a cage. It's not going to be his forever home. Next, I want to have an obstacle course for a squirrel to lead it to a nut. I know the acorn's been planted, but kind of looks like a nut. I'm not sure if they can jump up 2 blocks. I'm sure they can run up 1. I'm sure they could jump up 2. I'm kind of curious to test this out. And okay, so he could jump up 2. Can you jump up a 3? Not 4. I didn't mean to do 4. So you can jump 3. So if I do an obstacle course where it comes down to here, and I can go up and down and have it dodge various different traps and whatnot, and maybe have the player guide it to some extent. Gotta keep those squirrels safe after all, you know. 1 obstacle course for squirrels later, and things are looking pretty good. You fly in on your minecart, you hit this pressure plate, and this pressure plate will spawn a squirrel from this statue. The squirrel will have to go through these perfectly timed geyser traps and spear traps, and every time they hit one of these points, they unlock these conveyor belts, so you progress on to the next one. and then you progress on to the next one. Once the squirrel gets down here, you hit this pressure plate, which releases the water, creating a bridge for it to go to safety and reach the acorn. It also releases these 2 boulder traps. Now, they're not what you think. They're not here to hurt the player. You will be perfectly fine. These are both going to roll to the right, and what they're meant to do is clear the area of sharks. What sharks? Well, obviously, whenever you guide a squirrel, sharks rain down from drones above, right? So I need to test this, but what I'm going to be doing is using the teleporter trick to get a couple of shark statues just floating up here, like so, and then build a drone around them. I could just leave the statues floating up there. It would be fine, but I'd like for these to look good. And if you guys don't know what that glitch is, it's called the teleporter glitch. It's super easy. All you need is 2 teleporters, whatever you want to stack on top of them, and then you break the bottom teleporter, which breaks the teleporter on top of it, but it doesn't break the statue. We're going to hook those up right here, grab a switch, spawn those in, and this should clear the sharks out entirely. And you know what? I'm not going to kill them. No. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to put a little aquarium right here for them. We're just moving them. We don't need to kill the sharks. So now, once the squirrel reaches the end of its obstacle course, you will be placed down here onto this track, and you will be yeeted into the other side of the map where we started. And this pressure plate is going to run right up here. I need to grab the king statue once again, and we're going to place that down there. And since the guide is the only male NPC here right now, he will be teleported here, guaranteed. I have that wired up and ready to go. So what I'm hoping he will do is walk his way into here, which will be a new cage. It'll close behind him, and shenanigans will happen from there. I'm not sure if he will. I'm pretty positive he won't walk off to the right here because NPCs don't like falling down cliffs, but let's find out. We could put him back in that cage later. Go ahead, walk. Yeah, I know you're not going that way. Go the other way. Go on. Go on. All the way. No. Will you not? It's not a fall. There's a 1 block gap. You literally cannot fit through that. Are you kidding me? Oh, you know what? What about Echo Block? If we put Echo Block in here, what about that? Now it's definitely not a gap. It looks like one, but it's not. Okay, excellent. Now he can get into his cage. And now I'm a happy camper. What about this right here? I like this one a little bit more. It feels a little bit more natural. Will you still walk up and down this? Guide. Oi! Walk. Not that way. This way. Yes, this way. Okay, now stop. Stop. Turn around. And march. March, march, march. Excellent. Good job. Okay, I discovered a slight problem that I need to work out a solution to. When I started building this platform here, it seems that it's affecting the bird's flight trajectory. It's going up here instead of dipping down, and it's slightly missing that entrance now. So I'm trying to think about exactly what I can do. I'm not sure if it's moving because of the guide or because of this platform. It's not colliding with anything, so I didn't think that it would affect its flight. I also want to put a crab sensor over here, and the crab will be able to walk to the left or the right. The pressure plate, though, is going to be on the right. So what I'm thinking about doing is having the crab spawn from the pressure plate right here, and it's trying to walk to the left, and you can't trigger anything. It obviously won't be able to walk to the right because it's trying to get to the player, so it'll just walk in this tunnel a little bit. But if the player dies and goes to spawn, the crab will be able to walk to the right and trigger the next part of the machine. And the way that's going to happen is the guide is going to step into this cage, get locked in here, which reverses this conveyor belt, sending the player into the lava. The player is going to die, but take the guide with him, opening up this cage, dropping the guide into the lava. Both of them perish. The player respawns at spawn, which is right where the plush is, and the crab will walk to the right, trigger the next part. The player death will actually serve 3 different functions. 1, it'll move player to the spawn so that the crab can walk over to the right and trigger the pressure plate, triggering the next part of the machine. 2, it dismounts the player from the minecart because I want to use portals for the next part, and you can't get into a portal while on a mount. And 3, I'm going to require that the player be in medium core, and this will make the player drop the putter, freeing up their inventory for the marshmallow on a stick. So up next is the portal section, and what I've got here is the crab statue is going to walk over here, hit this pressure plate, and I'm going to rig up a device that opens this, which will allow the portal gun station to the right to fire a beam and place it right on top of spawn. If I actually deactivated all those blocks. It'll place that right here, and then another one somewhere else, I haven't decided exactly where yet, will fire and we will teleport out. We now have these drones floating in the air. You'll come out and teleport from one to the next, and it will launch you all the way against this honey, where you will slowly fall down directly into this hole, which, because of that cloud block, will break your fall, but the conveyor belt will carry you onwards. Now, I thought about reusing the crab, but I think it would despawn by the time you come out of this area, so I'm going to forego that. I'm not even going to waste my time testing, but we are almost done. There's a couple more things that I need to do. One, I need to fill up our inventory, because if I show you right here, if we have a marshmallow on a stick and it falls into our inventory, you'll see that even if I have a slot open up here, it's going to go into the main inventory. It's not going to go up here, and I need it to land up here so that I can actually hold it and roast the marshmallow. In order for that to happen, obviously I need to have my entire inventory filled with junk, essentially, so that this falls, we pick it up, and it's in our held hand. So what I'm thinking about doing is having a space below this conveyor belt that I'm going to fill with a sort of dispenser. Basically, the only item that I could think of that goes straight into your inventory and not to your action bar, that there's a lot of them, and basically there's 40 of them, is dye. And we're going to have, let's just pretend these are dyes, 1 dye in each of these. When I actuate these, then these are going to break. There will be space down here, so that one breaks too. And what I'm thinking about doing to get the dyes up to you is using a hoik to prevent the item frames from getting there. There will just be a pool of lava at the very bottom. Since this is a common item, it will be destroyed in the lava, but you can see that the dyes have a bit of rarity to them. They all have colorful names. That means none of these will burn up in the lava. And I could send 40 of them over here. You'll pick them up. It'll fill up your inventory, leaving the open spot at 0 for the marshmallow on a stick to fall into. Looking pretty good here, and we are almost done. We have 40 different types of dyes. And again, the reason why each and every single one of these needs to be different is because we don't want any of them stacking. We want all 40 of these slots to be taken up after we have dyed. So that's going to be triggered by the golf ball landing in that cup. So the golf ball that we launch at the very beginning to the Plinko will be sitting here the whole time. It's not going to be long enough for it to despawn or anything like that. And what I'm thinking about having is this pressure plate here. So we're going to fall down into here. We'll slide this way. This will open the trap door, which will drop the golf ball, which will fall down into here, into this hole, opening the door, allowing us to move forward. And let me just grab the wire here. Also actuating every single one of those blocks, which will break all of the dies, all of the item frames. The item frames will get destroyed in the lava. The dies will be hoiked up to this position here. Now, I'm worried about going through here too quickly, so I'm going to put a 5-second timer at this pressure plate right here. That way I could stay here for 5 seconds, ensure that I get all of the dies before moving forward. And then once we're through there, all that's left is to end up right over here, where we will not only ignite the fire, but we will also break this item frame up here, which will have the marshmallow on a stick in it. And the way that this is going to work is the item frame is going to get caught right here. It's too tall. This is one tall right here. And so the item frame will get caught and not set to our inventory, but the marshmallow on a stick will be sent down to us. And then everything will be done and we can consume our tasty treat. I had to do some tweaking, but this is it. The final version and the moment of truth. I haven't fully tested this. I've tested every bit, just not one cohesive unit. And we're about to find out with my first attempt on a medium core character how this will play out. Now, there are instructions on the sign here because I will be making this world available for download in the Steam Workshop. So you can find a link to that in the description below. Be sure to check it out. But we're going to just go through this real quick. I'm going to get on the rail and scoot as far right as possible. It's very important. It doesn't quite work right if you don't. We're going to grab this. We're going to shoot it. And I'm going to turn off the camera or the UI. And we're just going to see how this plays out. We get launched over to the side. A little bird makes its way over, goes into the glass tube, gets crushed by a boulder, which sends spears traps everywhere. A boulder nearly falls on her head. And we just killed a butterfly on our way over. The squirrel's going through. Perfect timing. Nearly gets stabbed by a spear trap. Sharks are falling from the sky. The squirrel stops right in front of the spear trap. Very brave of it. I wonder when it's going to go off next. It's only a few more seconds, but he goes, and we're safe. The boulders push the sharks out of our way safely into their aquarium. The squirrel makes its way across the obsidian bridge to the acorn, and we are sent back to the beginning. We summon the guide, who walks faithfully into his chamber, and we drop him into the pit with us, although we are dead now. So we should be respawning in just a second. The crab statue will be moving to the right, and it will be continuing. So we're at spawn now. The crab statue's inching its way over. Portals shoot. We fly through the sky, and don't forget to leave a subscription, please, if you guys are enjoying this video. I would really appreciate it. YouTube's been canceling or removing a lot of subscribers lately, so it would really help me out if you guys double check that you're still subscribed. We are now safely at the bottom. We are going to drop the golf ball into the hole. All of our dies end up in our inventory. We move on. The marshmallow on a stick makes its way into our hand. The fire is on, and we are roasting this bad boy just a couple of seconds until it is fully cooked. And there we go. Was it worth it? Absolutely. And that's going to wrap it up for this wacky, yet hopefully enjoyable video. I had a ton of fun making this contraption, and I hope you guys had a lot of fun watching it built. Don't forget that we currently have plushies on sale. They will be available for only 3 weeks for pre-order, so be sure to check out the link to that in the description below. And thank you all very much for watching. I'll catch you all later. Happy building!